Honestly, first I just saw the video. I said, why this boy? Why him? Because I don't know him. He just shows some English. English is good. Some demonstrate. Yeah, Mandarin's all right. But my colleague, my stunt team tell me, oh, I said, how's the young guy? He said, good, learn fast, clever. Whatever he learned is so fast. I said, okay. Until on the set, the acting good, very good. Fighting, okay. 合格怎么说?
Acceptable.
Acceptable. Then, most important is behind the scene. When we are not on the screen, I was in the motorhome resting. Then I sit there, I see the corner, I see a young guy. I said, wow, yes, he will be a success. Because some young talent, cut, cell phone.
Yeah, right.
Right? Then cut, cell phone. But he always training, jumping, training. Because he's not in front of me. He don't know. I was watching him from. I think he was success.
You can't really hide taking a hit, is what I've learned, is because what they really want when you get hit is the hit and the reaction, right? That's your job as an actor. So every hit that I took, I basically really had to take.
It was a very challenging role, some very, very challenging shoes to try and find to fill. We needed somebody who was obviously a native Mandarin speaker, who was also an amazing actor, and on top of that, could also do the martial arts that I'd wanted, which was in camera, which was leading with that Hong Kong style. So I already knew he was an incredible actor from the tapes and from all of our audition process that we did, the screen tests, but it was only really when I saw him truly connect to the approach to the martial arts, the training that he did, so that the minute Jackie arrived on set, Ben was like, okay, Jackie, let's go. I can do everything. And he was like, wow, okay, this is a new thing. So that level of stepping up, because he knew how important it was for the theatrical feeling of the movie, that the action was awesome.
Working with Ralph and Jackie, I mean, I've been fans of them for my entire life thus far. I've been watching these movies since I was a kid. Every single one I've seen. Jackie's Karate Kid I saw in a theater with my mom when I was in elementary school, and Ralph's films, when I was in middle school, because my aunt showed them to me. These are movies that for 40 years they get passed down from generation to generation. So to be here with the two of them making the next chapter in the franchise, it's a pretty insane sort of full circle.
Sensei LaRusso.
Let's make a Karate Kid.
And that is one of the reasons why he's so good in this movie. Because you see that humility, dedication, hard work. He is just an inherently decent and good person. He's also very charming and he's very funny. And one of the most impressive things to me off camera, which is what you see on camera, is that his reaction to taking on what is a really significant burden. It's not an easy thing to be the lead of a movie, and it's really not an easy thing to be the lead of a movie where there are already high expectations going in. And his reaction to that was to work harder. Mm-hmm. He showed up every day prepared. He trained like a demon to be able to pull off these fight sequences, and they look amazing. He was always kind, he was always gracious, he was always on time, he always knew his words, and it is a beautiful thing to see this young man get rewarded by this fantastic film that was built around him. And as a fan, for me, to see the baton get passed from generation to generation to generation, and now having the opportunity to introduce my child to the new Karate Kid, I cannot tell you how exciting that is. And he just absolutely knocked this performance out of the park.
He crushes it. So now you have it. Now you have it in stereo. Now you have it in stereo.
Years of therapy.
Yeah, I mean, the preparedness, the dedication, the not taking any of it for granted, understanding that the stage has been set, and showing the respect, whether it be for Jackie, the franchise, myself, the previous filmmakers from 40 years back to today. There was an inherent understanding of that as soon as we met, and that's just was an inspiration for me going forward. I mean, I had that with some of the young actors on Cobra Kai as well, but you know, paying forward this legacy and handing it off to Ben to bring it to this next generation on the big screen. You know, I'm super excited for it. I'm excited for the ability to understand comedy and humor in the moment. So you have that Jackie Chan-esque style that it feels like a young Jackie Chan at times. Yet when we went into our Miyagi stuff and I came in with stylistically, you know, how I learned this, and you know, he was very open-minded and open to finding it and adjustments, and so that was, you know, it was like the give and take of creating a language, which is in storytelling. So yeah, I'm excited for him. I'm excited for him, and I'm excited he had a lot more fighting than I did.
No fighting. You make any friends?
Yeah, I did. One.
What's his name?
Mia?
Mia is a teenage girl like any other girl. She's also had to grow up really fast. She lost her mom when she was young, and it's sort of just her and her dad trying to make ends meet in this pizza shop. And she's someone who sees potential in Lee when they first meet before he fully sees it in himself, and I think that's really special. And she holds space for him and for his growth, but she's also on her own sort of path, so that balance was important.
You study karate or something?
Kung Fu. Used to. Don't do any of that anymore.
Yeah, you're clearly over it.
It stays true to the themes of the original. So if you're a fan of the franchise and you've been, whether you're a fan or not, it works. It works as a standalone. If you're coming in, you know, not knowing anything because you're entertained by Li Fang's story, but if you know of the franchise, then it's a richer experience because you're getting pieces of the mythology, the legacy, and thematically, the elements that made the Karate Kid what it is today are still true in Li Fang's story. You know, fish out of water, new kid in a new town, product of single parenting, dealing with loss, family loss, his brother, where in my case it was his Daniel Russo's father, positivity, mentorship, you know, being the best version of yourself, when to go through and push through to the overcoming your obstacles. Those are all, I mean, I could go down. It's a list of a lot of things, but they all connect on a human level because we've all experienced that, so it's relatable. What makes it entertainment is the spectacular fight sequences, but the heart and soul has to be on the human side. Otherwise, it's you know, just a video game, you know, and there's enough of those out there. So we care because of the human factor. So I'm excited for new, you know, young fans to enter the franchise through this new 2025 version of chapter in the story, and then they'll back themselves into all the previous you know, chapters. It's pretty unique.
So much of the central theme of the Karate Kids movies is about mentorship, right? And I think in general, and we even see it in this, it's the teacher and the student relationship. But for the relationship between Victor and Lee, that relationship goes in both directions, right? Lee, who has all of these incredible skills and also is at a place where he can actually translate that into cross-disciplinary motion, is able to help Victor, but Victor as an older male, right, is able to understand the things that Lee is going through and be able to be there for him in a very solid and important way. And I certainly know that mentorship has been really important to me in my life. And I love putting that on screen, and I think that it's a nice wrinkle for the modern age about how relationship dynamics actually work, right? That it's not just that we have to be good students and sit there and transcribe what our mentors tell us. It's that there is an interplay. It is just as important for the grown-up as it is for the child or the young person in those mentor-mentee relationships. It's what I thought was so beautiful about the Miyagi-Daniel-san relationship, is that Miyagi knows that his life is just as much impacted by having Daniel as Daniel's life is by having Miyagi. And I think that's a bit of the same relationship between Victor and Lee, is that those two people need each other, right? It's a healthy exchange between the two of them, not just a teacher and a student.
No such thing, bad student, only bad teacher. Teacher said, student do.